Hi everyone, my name is Akorede Adenike. You are highly welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time of you coming to my channel, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell for you to be notified each time I upload new video. If you are my old subscribers, I really appreciate you for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much. In this tutorial today, I would like to teach you how to cut and sew this beautiful flared dress with asymmetric hem, and it also has Puffy flutter sleeve. Firstly, I'm going to draft the upper parts first, most especially for the beginners, for them to know how to go about it. So I'm going to make the draft now. I'm ruling out my starting point, which is going to be my shoulder line. From the shoulder line, I'm going to measure out my chest line. To get that is half of my round armhole. My round armhole is 17 inches divided by 2 give me 8.5 plus half inch for shoulder joining is going to be 9 inches, which is here now. 9 inches and 9 inches. I'm connecting it straight. On my shoulder line, I'm going to place half of my shoulder measurement there. My shoulder measurement is 15 inches divided by 2 giving 7.5 plus half inch seam allowance, that is 8 inches. I'm going to place it on my chest line too, which is 8 inches as well, and I'm going to connect it straight to get my armhole line. That's just it. From my shoulder line, I'm going to measure out my bust point. My bust point is 10 inches plus half inch seam allowance, that is 10.5, which is here. So I'm going to connect it straight, just like this. So this will be my center, front and back. So I'm going to come down by half inch for my shoulder slanting, and to get my neck width, I'm coming to the center, front and back here. My neck width is going to be 4 inches and my neck depth for the back is going to be 1.5. Supposed to be 1, but that half inch will be for shoulder joining. And my neck depth for the front will be 3.5 plus half inch shoulder joining, that is 4 inches, which is here. So I'm going to connect it like this. My back first and my front as well. I'm going to turn my ruler like this and roll it out. This is my front neckline and this is my back neckline. Hope you can see it and understand. So my shoulder slanting, I'm going to roll it out as well. To get my armhole now, for the back armhole, I'll just place my ruler like this and curve it out. This is my back armhole. To get my front armhole now, I'm going to find what is here, what is in between this point. What is here now is 8.5. I'm going to fold it into 2 for me to get it easily. I'm doing this most especially for the beginners, for them to understand. So from this point now, I'm coming in by 3/4 of an inch, which is 0.75, and it is here. So I'm going to make a straight line slantly to meet the point, and I'm going to use the curved side of the ruler to finish it up. I have a link on how to draft basic bodice pattern. I'm going to drop the link in the box below for you to understand what I'm making now. So on my chest line, I'm going to place 1/4 of my bust there. My bust is 38 inches divided by 4 will give me 9.5 plus half inch seam allowance, that is 10 inches, which is here now. I'm going to repeat it here, 10 inches. I'm going to add 1 inch for seam allowance to each side seam allowance. So, and I'm connecting it straight. So I'm going to cut it out now, but I'm cutting the back armhole first. So I'm done cutting my pattern out. So I'll now fold my fabric out for you to see how I'm going to place it and cut it out. So I've spread my fabric out for me to fold it for you to see how I'm folding it. So I'm going to fold it diagonally like this. After folding diagonally like this, I'm going to check the bottom first, whether it is enough for what I need there before I continue. So on the bottom here, I'm going to check whether it is enough for what I need. So I need 23 inches on the bottom here. If you want, you can make it 25, depends on how fuller you want it. So the bottom is okay for me now. This is 23 inches. So I'm going to measure from that bottom now the actual length I want for my dress, which is the longer part of my dress. I need 44 inches for the length of my dress, and I'm going to add 1 inch seam allowance to it. I'm using bias tape to hem the bottom, that's why I'm adding 1 inch. So half inch will be for the bottom hemming and half inch will be for the shoulder joining. Hope you understand. So that's just it now. Now take my pattern that I draft out the other time. I'm going to place it like this. After, let me place it like this. After placing my pattern paper, I'm just using my ruler to straighten it at the shoulder line. Make sure you are careful, please. So I hope it's okay now. So I'm going to draw out my shoulder line. Let me recheck my length from the bottom to where I marked the other time. Is okay. 44 inches, which is the actual length, and 1 inch for seam allowance, that is 45 inches. So this is 45 inches now. So I'm going to pin down my pattern paper to it to avoid it from shaking while cutting. So after pinning down my pattern paper to get my shoulder line, this is my shoulder line now. As you can see, this is my shoulder line. So from there now, I'm going to measure that 44 plus 1 inch. I'm going to measure it all round, which is 45 inches. I'm measuring it all around. So I'll show you the bottom. Just let me finish the marking. 45 inches from the shoulder line, 45 inches. So I'm connecting it. Inches. So here's the bottom of it. As you can see now, this is the bottom of it. So what I'll just do to the bottom now, on the side, you know, the hem line is just like high-low dress. On the side here, I'm going to come up by 11 inches. If you want it higher, you can make it more than 11 inches. So I'll just use my ruler to connect it slantly like this. So I don't want this place to sharp like this. I'll just curve it out a little bit as it is shown on the screen. And that's the beauty of it. So I'm going to curve it out a little bit like this and finish it off with the straight side of my ruler to meet this line that I have already. So that's the bottom I want. If you want it higher, you can make it more than 11 inches that I used the other time. What I'll just do now is to cut my back out. So I'll now use my back to cut the front. Now this is my back part. As you can see, it's very nice and beautiful. I'm going to fold another fabric for my front part. Now I'm done folding another fabric for my front part, as you can see, and I've placed my back on it. So I'm going to cut it out for you to see. Now I'm done cutting my front out, as you can see. So what I'll just do now is to blend this side to my chest line. I'll just blend it up like this with my straight ruler. I'm going to blend it out like this and cut it out, both front and back. Now I'm done shaping the side out too. So I'm going to remove my pattern paper and remove my back from it. So I'll now place my pattern paper on the front for me to complete the cutting of it. Just like this. I'm going to place it on it and cut my neckline and my front armhole. Now that I'm done cutting, I'm going to cut the facing for both front and now I'm folding this small fabric for my front facing. I'm cutting front facing first. I'm going to place my front on it like this. Make sure you get enough fabric for that. I'm going to chalk my neckline out. Chalking my neckline out like this. And my shoulder line. So after tracing out my neckline and my shoulder line, I'm going to measure out 3 inches around from my neckline and cut it out. Now this is the front facing. I'm going to notch it with 1/4 of an inch at the bottom here, and I'm going to hem it with 1/2 inch before placing it on my front. Place it on the right side of it and hem it, stitch it with 1/2 inch on the neckline. So let me show you how to cut the back. Now here is the fabric that I folded for the back facing, and here is my back part. I'm going to create a slit at the back part. So from my neckline, I'm going to measure out 5 inches downward like this and slit it out just like this. So after that, I'm going to place, here is my fabric for the facing. I folded it into 2 as well. I'm going to place my back on it like this. So from that, from where my slit stopped, I'm going to measure down 3 inches. For me to check whether the fabric can be enough for what I'm cutting out, the facing. Make sure you check it, please. So it can be enough. I'll now trace out my neckline. From the slit, I measured 3 inches downward. So I'm going to trace out my neckline now. My shoulder slants. So after shaping my back neckline and shoulder slant out, I'm going to measure 3 inches from my neckline like this. 3 inches. 3 inches. And here too, this is where my slit end. I'm going to measure 3 inches like this and shape it out to meet here with a little bit curve, just like this, because of that slit. So, and I'm going to cut it out. So that's just it. So this is my back part now, and I'm going to open that slit as well. Here is it now. As you can see, this is my back facing. So I'll just notch it round with 1/4 of an inch and hem it with 1/2 inch before placing it on my back. just like this and stitch the neckline with 1/2 inch from here down to the slit end here. So as you can see, so let's move on to the sleeve. Now I'm folding another fabric for my sleeve. I'm going to fold it diagonally as well, like I did on the dress, till I get what I want. So after folding diagonally like this, I'm going to check where I can get half of my round armhole. So my round armhole is 17 inches. I'm going to divide it by 2. That will give me 8.5, and I'm going to add 1 inch for seam allowance to it. That will be 9.5. So I'm checking now. This is where 9.5 is now. I'm going to dot it out and rule it out with my ruler. So this is where it is. So what I'll just do now is to check the length from this line, whether the length can be enough for what I want. I want 13 inches. Let me make it 12 inches for the length of my sleeve. So plus 1 inch seam allowance, that is 13 inches, and is here. So for me to get the bottom accurately, I'm going to measure out what I have from here till this point now. What I have here now is 23 inches. So I'm going to measure that 23 inches round to get the bottom of my sleeve round. So 23 inches all round for me to get it accurately. And I'm going to connect it round. So after shaping the bottom of my sleeve out, I'm going to measure my calf's height from here. From this line now, I'm going to measure my calf's height, which is 4 inches. To know how to get that, if you watch my video on how to draft basic sleeve, you will get that. I'm going to put the link in the box below for you guys to understand. So I'm going to rule it out, and I'm marking another 3 inches extra for the puff that I'm talking about from the beginning. So 3 inches. I said I marked out my calf's height from this line. After that, I marked out 3 inches for the puff. So I'm going to cut it out now for you guys to see before I continue with my measurements. Now I'm done cutting, as you can see. So what I'll just do now is to measure out my 9 inches, 8.5 inches, which is the half of my round armhole out here. And the remaining one is for seam allowance, like I told you. So I'm going to connect from here to here now for me to draw out my armhole, just like this. And I'm going to find half of these points now from here to here. I'm going to find the half of it. So I'll easily fold my tape measure into 2 and mark it out for me to draw out my armhole. So I'm going to draw it out like this. First of all, measure 1/2 inch out from here, and I'm going to connect it like this and finish it up with the curved side of my ruler. I'm going to turn it up like this and mark it out, as you can see. So this is my back armhole. Now to connect my front armhole, I'm going to place it like this and mark it out. And as well, I'm going to turn my ruler like this to finish it up. Hope you can understand what I'm doing. If you don't understand, I'm going to drop a link on how to draft basic sleeve for you guys to understand. So this is my 3 inches now, which is for the puff side. So what I'll just do now is to, this is the middle of my armhole. I'm going to connect it with the curved side of my ruler. If you are good at your free hand, you can do that, but I'm doing this because of the beginners. So this is my front armhole now, and this is my back armhole, just like this. So I'm going to cut it out now for you to see before I cut the second one. I'm using this to cut the second one. I want to make it puff very well. Let me increase it like this, so for it to bogus very well, the puff. So I'm cutting the back armhole first, which is here now. So I'm going to cut my front armhole now by opening it up like this, and so this is my front armhole, as you can see. This side is my front and this side is my back. If I fold it back, you will see the difference now. Here is it. Hope you can see it very well. Let me move closer to the camera. As you can see, this is the difference between the back and the front. So I'm going to use this one to cut the second sleeve now for me to continue with my sewing. So when I finish cutting the second sleeve, I'll come and show you how to put all together to form the dress we are talking about. Now I'm done cutting the second sleeve, as you can see. So I'm moving on to the sewing aspect of it now. My sleeve, I'm going to hem the bottom of my sleeve with 1 inch. So I'm going to do as I explained on the front and the back part. Hem the bottom of the facing with 1/2 inch. Before hemming, I'm going to notch with 1/4 inch, and I'm going to place it on it like this. Let the right side face the right side and stitch the neckline with 1/2 inch. I'm going to do the same thing on the back part as I explained the other time. So I'm stitching with 1/2 inch. So when I finish with all that, I'll come and show you what's next. Now I'm done hemming the bottom of my sleeves, as you can see. These are my 2 sleeves. I'm done hemming the bottom. I'm going to notch the center of my sleeve here because of the puff that I'm making. So I'm notching the center. Here is it. I'm going to put it aside, but before putting it aside, I'm going to fold into 2 like this and stitch the side with 1 inch. And I'm going to do the same thing on the second sleeve. So here is my dress now, both front and back. I'm done stitching the facing to it, as you can see. I hem the bottom of my facing, both facing. This is the front, and I stitch it with 1/2 inch to the neckline. So I'll go ahead and notch the neckline with 1/4 inch. I'm going to turn it. This is the back part. I'm going to notch here and notch it round with 1/4 inch. I'm notching the front too with 1/4 inch before turning like this and give it a good press. So when I finish doing that, I'm going to hem the bottom of my dress with bias tape, like I said, 1 by 1 before joining it together. So when I finish with all that, I'll come and show you what's next. Now I'm done stitching the sides of my sleeves. This is the first one, this is the second one. I'm going to put it aside. So this is my dress, both front and back. I'm done hemming the bottom of it, of both front and back, as you can see. So, and I've turned my facing in. Here is it. Here is the front part, as you can see. So when I finish with all the necessary stitching, I'm going to hem it at the bottom here with my needle and thread, or better still, I can use my hemming glue for it. So here is the front and here is the back of it. I've turned the facing in. Look how neat and beautiful it is, as you can see. So here is the slit. So I'll now go ahead now. After all this, I'm going to join my shoulder by placing front and back on each other like this. Let the right side face the right side and open up the shoulder and the facing like this. Open this one too like this and place it on each other. Let the shoulder align on each other and stitch with 1/2 inch. I'm going to do the same thing on the second shoulder. Open it up, place it on each other, let the shoulder align on each other and stitch with 1/2 inch. After which I'm going to stitch my sides too, both sides, with 1 inch seam allowance. So when I finish with all that, lest I forget, on the sleeve too, I'm going to make a gathers here for me to form my puff, both sleeves. So now I'm done joining my 2 shoulders, as you can see. I'll just turn it in like this and I've stitched my two sides too with 1 inch, as you can see. So I'll put it aside, move on to my sleeve. Now to the sleeves, I'm already done with one, but I'm going to use the second one to explain how I gathers this place to look puffy like this. So what I did is that I measured out half of my round armhole from here, so, and mark it out, which is 8.5 inches. I let it reflect on the second side. So I'll now go ahead to my machine now and use loose stitch to stitch it before I gather it to make it look puffy like this one. But I made a little mistake on this. To rectify a little mistake that I made on the sleeve, you know, I measured my cap's height upward from the half of my round armhole line. So from this cap's height now, I'm going to measure out my length from there now. So I said the other time that my length is 12 inches, and I added 1 inch to it for my seam allowance, hemming allowance. So I'll measure what I have here now. What I have here now is 3 inches. You know, I've already hemmed the bottom of it before, so I'm going to measure 3 inches all around, because if I should measure it from here now, it won't be accurate. So that's why I measured what I have here for me to shape it out, 3 inches all around. So this is the new bottom now. So I realized that it's very long. It's too long for what I expect. I'm going to do the same thing on the second one. As you can see now, it's looking beautiful and perfect. After trimming out the excess, I'll go to my machine now and hem the bottom with 1 inch by double folding it like this. So when I finish with all that, I'll come and show you what's next. Now I'm done hemming the bottom of my sleeves, both sleeves. So, and I've gathered the second one here on the shoulder. I'll take one of the thread here and start pulling to get what I want. So after the gathers, it will just look like this. As you can see, it's looking puffy already. So I'll go ahead now and fix it to the body just like this. I'll make sure I open it up like this for me to know where the front is and the back. So, and this is my sleeves too. Here is the front part of it. I'll just fix it here. I'm going to use pin. If you are a beginner, please use pin. So I'm fixing the second one too like this. I'll place it like this. Hope you can see it. I'll place it like this and fix it in. So when I finish with my sleeves, I'll give it a good press and put it on for you guys to see the finishing look of it. Here is the finishing look of it, guys. If you find my tutorial helpful, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel to support my channel. If you have any question pertaining to cutting and sewing, you can join me on my Facebook group, Details to Sewing, created by Akorede Adenike. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Akorede Adenike. Please show some love by liking and following my page on Facebook at Akorede Adenike Sewing Tutorial. Till I see you in my next video, guys. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye-bye.